water crossing. Not sure if we're going to cross it or not. The boys are just checking it out. It is looking pretty deep.
I said, there's
No way.
no way we're doing that. No.
Wasn't a good sight when you came around the corner?
Stop. Put yourself in our shoes. You are here. You have a decision to make with potentially big implications. We're not talking about deciding what you're having for tea. This is big. What do you do?
This is a creek of consequence.
Here's my thought process. Do we have to cross? The answer is no, of course. We could backtrack and get out. So why would we then? We're on this trip to explore out-of-the-way places, to take the path less traveled. This juices us, it excites us, and it's the reason that we're out here. So the conclusion is, we would like to continue. Our third consideration then is, can we do it? How do you determine that? Two parts of that. Are our vehicles capable, and are we capable? And the answer to that is yes on both accounts, given the experience that we've had and how we have our cars set up. So we have a water crossing of consequence. We want to cross. We have capable vehicles and drivers. How do we de-risk it? Firstly, we walk it. That'll tell us the depth, the type of bottom, and how fast it's flowing. Second, we drop our tire pressures. Don't be afraid to go very low, 10 psi, even lower. In this case, it's a straight crossing, sandy bottom, very low cross current. The risk of rolling a bead on the tire is minimal. We have recovery gear at the ready, both on the vehicle crossing and on the cars on the shore. Also, you could tarp the front of the car up as well. However, we didn't do it in this instance. Then we give it a crack.
That's why you're filming.
Oh my god.
That was pretty full on.
Just a little.
Must have found the shallow side.
Water comes up.
That's the deep part.
I didn't know they made 200 in marine version.
How was that, Mr. Terry?
We're pulled up on the side of a lake, one of these suspended lakes in the silica sand dunes at Cape Flattery. And it's beautiful here. Check this out. Simply stunning. What you doing, hon?
I'm reading a book and hiding from the sun.
Oh, it's pretty toasty out.
Yeah.
Thumbtacking his foot in his nose because I don't wear shoes. He's that tough, isn't he?
Afternoon, Mr. King.
Arch, looks like you've done yourself quite a service there with that wood pile, mate.
Not a real good selection.
Best we could do. That's awesome. Matthew, what do you reckon about this campsite?
Terrence, not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Hey? I was a little bit uncertain when we approached that water until some fool decided to walk in there. It made my mind up. I'm going to drive through there.
Okay. I thought it was Philip who was the fool for taking it on first, but maybe not.
No, it's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, you were silly enough to go in there, so I'm silly enough to drive it. All good.
And it was easy peasy, eh?
It was.
Yeah.
Hard bottom, just a little bit bonnet deep, but good.
Good. Let's discuss the potential elephant in the room. Walking a crossing in northern Australia where crocodiles potentially inhabit. Why did I do it? I'm no croc expert, so did I just jump in completely ignorant and wait for natural selection to run its course? Of course not. Here were my considerations. 1. Before walking in, I checked for any evidence of crocodiles. Slides, mounds, that sort of thing. And I couldn't see any. 2. It's a suspended lake 100 meters or so above sea level. 3. There was no direct connection via a river or waterway to the coast. A croc would have to do some serious bush bashing to get here. 4. I have studied the biology of similar lakes on Fraser Island and know they're relatively sterile when it comes to life in general. This lake was no different. There was very little algae in the lake and consequently few insects. This is probably in large part due to the heavy tannin levels in the water, bringing the pH of the water into the acidic range, making life very challenging. There were very few fish in the water, and the ones present were very small. There were no shorebirds around. In fact, there were very little signs of any birds at all. The evidence suggested, and I concluded that, like many of the suspended lakes I studied on Fraser, this lake was relatively sterile in terms of life. That means it'd be really difficult for an apex predator to sustain itself given the lack of an abundant food source. So for me, the risk was low. Others in our group would disagree and would not enter the water. That's cool. We're all different. Would I walk the Jardine if I was intending to drive it, given the same risk assessment? Absolutely not. Bottom line, just like driving the water crossing itself, I evaluated the evidence before me, plugged my observations into my mental risk assessment, then made a decision. And that's all anyone can do.
Matt's just been for a bath. Been for a swim? Been for a swim?
Bit of a swim, bit of a rinse off. The water temperature's awesome.
It's nice, isn't it?
We were camped here at the bottom of the map. We knew we couldn't get into Connie's Beach over by Cape Flattery, but there was a track that ran due north to 2 other beaches. And these 2 beaches looked absolutely amazing on the satellite image. So that was our intention, shoot for those. If we couldn't get to those, we'd fall back to a junction north of our current position that looked like it dumped back out onto the Wakuka Road, which would allow us to continue our journey north.
This morning it's a bit bushy. We're making our way through the track, so just nice and steady. When you push pinstriping, thank God we wrapped the trucks, because this is pretty thick.
Yeah, it's pretty yuck up here, Terry.
As Phil just said.
Well, after that awesome camp beside that little lake, we're continuing to push towards the coast. We developed a little bit of a drama at that lake in that Phil's alternator isn't charging adequately. At idle, it's not charging at all, and when he's sitting at about 1500 RPM plus, then it starts to put in voltage. So once we get up to the mine site and get some phone reception, we'll put a call into the scooters, who are coming up to do the Cape Tip run, and they're in Cairns at the moment, so hopefully they can pick up an alternator. Then we can meet the boys somewhere. But as long as we're moving and running, Phil's alternator is charging, and when we pull up, we've got adequate solar blankets if we can get some sunshine.
Not real deep.
We're travelling on alright. We're doing about 9-10 kilometres an hour, second gear high range. Not hard by any shape or form, but it's just a bit woolly on the sides.
Track's closed in a little on us.
We'll get an alternator. We'll meet up with the boys somewhere, probably in about a week. And we will grab that alternator and we'll bang it on. It's not a big job to fit, probably half an hour job. We'll get that problem sorted out, and that'll take Phil's stress levels down a little bit. I fully understand when you got something going wrong like that.
Well, they had to go down. They had 2 fridges running, so they've had to drop down to one.
Fridge,
so
yeah.
move everything into the one.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just improvising a little bit there.
Track's growing in a little bit.
You may have trouble up here, Phil. You may have to do some chainsawing.
Philip's got the saw out. We're on the track. That can only mean one thing.
Clearing.
Clearing.
Whoa. And drowning.
Oh. We're out. We come out to this big sand block.
Going through a pretty deep little swamp here.
Very interesting scenery.
Sure is. We got all of the stick stuff, but while we got a view, there's a beautiful mountain range in front of us that we're heading directly towards.
Alright, Phil.
That is beautiful.
Always looking at the map. Trying to see where we're gonna go. Boys are walking off, just trying to figure out where we're driving to next. Will we turn around? Turn off somewhere? We're still a fair way away from the beach.
Roads.
Yeah, that'll be all fine, absolutely. Just looking from a camp point of view. But we could drive out there. It's a long track. We could drive out there and maybe jag it and maybe not. The only other option we've got is back the way we came, because we can't get to that.
We've still got to come out this way.
Yeah. Correct, yeah. Regardless, we've got to come out this way. Exactly. Well, another CB. Don't know what CB is? Check the previous episode. We couldn't get down to the beach. The dune field was just too steep. The track that ran out to the Wakuka Road didn't exist anymore. So our only other option was to backtrack that entire way we came, have lunch back at our camp that we left this morning, and then from there backtrack out to the Wakuka Road before heading north. A little bit disappointing, but hey, that's what adventure's all about, isn't it? Sometimes things work out for you, and sometimes they don't. If we do turn around now, we could probably make the change where we camped the last time.
Stay out of the river, Matt.
Yes.
Stay out of there.
Everyone, don't drive in the river. Don't drive. Very soft. Very soft.
Gravel, heavily gravel. The Genie
We haven't
River.
been there yet on this trip.
No, I got bogged out last time.
But that's really it. You know, a day out here, camping out here on a potential unknown,
You're better off turning around.
or spin around.
You don't even know what's ahead of that yet. You might get back out there. What Scotty says, that one down there, it's freaking steep.
Is it?
It's steep and soft. Yeah, it's steep like that.
Right. Okay.
And you get a few more of them.
Well, that sounds probably about it then.
We have made a decision, have we?
Yeah.
Yep. We spin them around. We'll go back.
Maybe go back to our camp for either lunch or
That'll be lunch.
smoko.
It'll be lunch. So we left there at 9. It's 20 past 10 now. So hour and 20. Back to the camp. That'll be lunch, and then
Have some lunch, have a swim, and then off we go.
yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to turn around, head back to where we camped last night, have a bite to eat, and then keep heading out.
tracks in front of us.
Now tail end Charlie's in the lead.
Okay, up the hill we go.
Okay.
Give it a bit to get up that pinch and hang to the right.
See if I can see anything else.
Roger, yeah, pulls you over to the left, doesn't it?
It does, and it's pretty death-defying on the left.
Yeah, I can't see. Robin wasn't impressed. I just passed that track that we were looking for, Tab, off to the right. It hasn't been used for a long time.
Yeah, copy that. How much further did we need to walk to find it, mate?
Probably about 3 steps.
All right. The trees just ripped off the snorkel sock.
Yep. Phil's whole mirror just got ripped off his truck back behind us.
Oh, there is some grass under there.
Dry in the back.
They don't go under for very long.
No.
Before too long, we were back on the main Wakuka track, a well-formed dirt road that allowed us to continue our northerly journey. Along the way, there was a road that swung back out to the coast that led to the mouth of the Stark River, so we turned down that track to check it out. There were lots of caravans, camper trailers, and far too many people for our liking, so we pushed on. Our new target was the intersection of the Genie River and the Wakuka track, a spot where we had camped several years prior. Well, we're on the Wakuka track. Plantation of date palms, it looks like.
With a horse,
With a horse.
of course.
When you come up over a hill and you look into a big wide green paddock, there's a track that peels off to the right. That was the one that Maddie and I took out to the airstrip.
Phone reception, I can tell you that. There's a phone there.
There's a phone there.
Maybe it's an emergency phone.
Here's a phone on the side of that satellite dish.
Stark River. I got that, Kim. Stark River. Round mountain. People camped. There's a boat ramp. And there's fish jumping in the water. Look down in front, Tara, just over the edge. There's lots of... It is something chased him.
It looked like a bear. Yeah. Well, we pulled into the Stark River camping area, and that was not our style. There was caravans there and people there. Looked like decent fishing, but it's not how we roll. We'd rather be somewhere a little bit more isolated. So we're back to the main Stark Wakuka track, and we'll continue north, driving down an abandoned runway at the moment. I don't know when this was last used as a runway, but it'll be a while ago. Oh,
You'll come to another washed out creek. There is a chicken track round to the right. I would suggest taking that if you don't have diff locks.
Roger that. We're just stuck behind Dalton at the moment, who's having a couple of goes.
Got it.
He got her. Down the hill we go.
tickle, tickle.
We're just starting to get into this country where you get these magnetic termite mounds, which are always pretty cool. They face north to south, apparently, and it has something to do with them trying to keep it cool, or temperature regulation. I don't know about cool, but...
We're actually heading just down into the Genie River. So everything going to plan, we are going to camp the night here. Stayed here previously, obviously 6 years ago.
Nice.
The Genie is ours, team.
Oh, yeah.
Friggin' awesome.
Kim's was whooping in the background. Woo! Nobody's here.
I dream of Genie with the light brown water.
Oh, this is nice.
Oh, this is nice.
Just like I remember it.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yay!
Yes, we have water.
Nice.
I remember laying down there in the...
Yep.
Yeah. So cool.
Yep.
We had a fire up there.
We did. It was on that side of the river, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Boys are going to check out where we can camp. So pretty.
Makuka Bushman. Catman. Kimby. Dune Raper.
Dune Raper. Packing up our camp on the Genie River. It's a really slow flowing little stream through here, but it's all sand bottom. It's lovely. There's the exit we're going to take on a bit later. And when we were here 6 years ago, the exit was actually over here. So that's obviously washed out, but that was the old exit there. And I say before that there was probably another one somewhere, and before that another one. Good morning, Philip. Awesome. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Chile. We'll obviously extinguish that before we leave. But somebody's got some firewood that we've cut up. And good morning, Curlings. Awesome, buddy.
Very pretty. Always just having their little morning tap.
Yeah, they say it must be a bastard. You're constantly swimming in that current.
Yeah.
You can't even sleep because you just drift.
He's fit, wouldn't you?
There he is. A few little fishies in here in the Genie River.
Here's Jill walking out of the Genie with the cars to follow next.
Go Terry.
You want to see this and this? Until next episode. Bye now.